My name is Stevie, and this video is about how I became a game developer. Back a few years ago, when COVID hit, I ended up losing my job. And at that time, I decided instead of continuing what I was already doing or doing something that I wasn't happy with, that I'd take a risk and change career paths and do something that I've always wanted to do, which was game development, specifically VR game development. Now, I had three major concerns at the time before I made the switch. Number one was that I didn't have any practical experience or skills in programming. I'd be pretty much starting from scratch. And number two was that I only had the financial leeway to maybe dedicate a year to year and a half of trying to make this career switch work. And finally, when talking to people, a lot of people were recommended taking like a computer science program or some sort of game development program. But with my time frame of being a year to year and a half, I really didn't have the leeway to go to do like a 2 or 4 year program, which was what was available at the time at the nearby like universities and colleges. So in order to make this career shift, I basically decided that I was going to try and be self-taught in terms of programming. Basically learn on my own, use online courses, books, YouTube, whatever resources I could, but basically try to get to the state where I could apply for a game development position at a studio within a year to a year and a half. Now in present day, I've been a professional developer at studios for a little over 2 years now at this point. So if you're questioning yourself on whether it's possible to change career paths and become a game developer and get hired as a game developer, I want to let you know that I was able to make that transition. I think that other people can make that transition as well. Now, this video is going to be focused on my experiences with trying to get into a game studio. And when I'm looking back on my past, I have 3 essential tips that I would recommend to myself as well as to others who are trying to basically do what I did and learn on their own and to get their skills to a point where they become a game developer at a studio. Tip number 1 would be to maximize your employability. What I mean by that is that when it comes to studios, what you're looking for is people. When you're hiring for game developers, you're looking for people who can help them make the games that they're already making. Now, when it comes to making games, typically most studios these days, I feel, don't make game engines from scratch. There definitely are like larger studios who've been around for a while who use proprietary technology and use their own game engines. But from researching and looking around, most game studios end up using Unity or Unreal. So my tip of maximizing your employability, what I mean by that is to do your research and check out all the different local game studios or the game studios you want to join. Make a big list of it, like 10, 15, 20, as many as you can, and try and figure out which game engine are they using. Because if you, for example, find out that out of the 20 game studios you want to apply for, 19 of them use Unity, that simplifies what you need to learn in terms of being self-taught. Now you know that most of the studios you want to work for or apply for are using Unity. That's the game engine you should focus your energy on learning. Because at the end of the day, it takes a very, very long time to master any of these game engines. And if you're in a situation like me where you want to make that shift to becoming a game developer really quickly, you shouldn't spread your resources in trying to learn like Unity and Unreal. You should just focus on one. And to help you choose the correct one and maximize your employability, doing this research is key. Because you don't want to be in a scenario where, for example, you're learning Unity, but every single studio that you want to apply for only works with Unreal. At that point, your chances of getting in is not going to be very high because there's a mismatch in terms of skills, right? Number 2 tip is to build a portfolio that is targeted at the studios and type of work that you want to do. And what I mean by that is that when you look at that list and you created that list of game studios in your local area or studios that you personally want to join, I would recommend you try to categorize them and see if there's any commonality between the types of games that they're working on. Because at the end of the day, for example, let's say you're looking to join a studio that does first-person shooters, right? They're trying to look for someone who could help them make those types of games, help them complete the next iteration of their FPS or whatnot. If you present to them a portfolio of games that you've made, which is all like platformers or strategy games like StarCraft, chances are, they're not going to make that immediate click that you're the person they need to bring into their studio to help them finish their FPS. If they see instead that you have a portfolio that you created 3 or 4 like vertical slices, small games that are focused on FPS, it showcases to them that you're familiar with the process of making the type of games that they are. And if you're going the self-taught route, this is really important because it's going to be the thing that helps you stand out, right? Like students graduating from like a local game studio or game program or a comp sci program usually end up doing like a plethora of different things. You can help give yourself a competitive advantage by having a portfolio that's more targeted specifically towards doing what the studio is already doing. Because at the end of the day, one of the best ways to know if that person's a good hire to bring into a development team is if they've already made similar games to what you're working on, right? Just like skills and knowledge there, that's going to be very beneficial. My third tip is also to focus on learning the right skills, right? When it comes to game development, there's a lot of different things you can focus your energy on and learn. But in my scenario, one of the traps that I had to try and avoid was getting stuck on learning a topic for too long, right? Because there's just so much you got to cover. And because there's so many different topics and skills that you can focus on, you really got to focus on the right ones that will get you the job. Now, how you determine what these skills are is if you look at the studios that you want to join, chances are if they've done it in the past or currently have job postings for junior or intermediate game developers. That gives you a better understanding of what skills are going to be more relevant for learning, right? And you can also look across like multiple studios to see what the job descriptions are. And once you categorize and compile that information, that's going to give you a better idea of what the key skills that you need to learn is going to be if you want to join these studios. Another quick tip I have for anyone who's looking to do this, and which I took big advantage of, is that when I looked at those computer science programs or the game development programs that were being recommended, but I didn't have time to join or financial cash to basically pay for it. Oftentimes those programs will publish their course material online in terms of their course outline. So they'll highlight out point blank for students who are interested in joining the program. These are the key skills, these are the key topics, here are the course names for what you're going to cover, and they're basically promising that if you cover those specific topics, by the end of the program, you'll be ready to join the industry. So if you're going the self-taught route, it was very helpful for me to take a look at a couple different programs and curriculum, pick out the commonalities for those key courses that they shared, and because they shared, I knew that these are going to be kind of like the core foundational steps that you need to learn in terms of skills. That really helped me focus in on what I needed to spend my time on for the year and a half, and to keep that like progress going, to not get stuck. Because I could always look at that list and be like, oh, okay, I got to learn 9 or 10 different topics within this year. Just because I had that list, I would know that I'm going too slow or going too fast. And of course, once you have those skills and those course names or topic names, you can always look to see if you can figure out what textbook or whatever that they're using. But even just having the name of the skill or the topic or the knowledge area, allows you to like search it up on YouTube and start learning that way as well, because there's lots and lots of resources online for you to learn the self-taught route. So yeah, it's a very, very quick rundown of 3 tips I think are essential if you're trying to go the self-taught route. I'm going to be trying to create more videos for this channel as well too to address this topic, because for people who want to be self-taught and join game development, there's still a lot to be shared. So yeah, feel free to drop your questions in the comments below. I'll try my best to answer them when I have time, and hopefully you found some use out of watching this video. Thanks a lot, and if you want more content like this, or you have questions yourself, like I said, just drop it in the comments below, and when I have time, I'll try and create videos to cover all those topics. Thanks, and have a great day.